My next guest takes on Neil Magny at UFC Rochester on May 18th. It is Vicente Luque back here on the program. Vicente, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm doing good.
Awesome. Good to hear. Let's talk about your last fight. You get that TKO win over Bryan Barberena in what was one of the fights of the year. I got to know, as that fight's going on, are you ever worried at all that you're not going to finish it? Because Bryan's really durable and really tough, as I'm sure you knew heading into the fight.
Yeah, I was ready for that before the fight. I had watched a lot of tape on him, my new guy, and he grew with every round. So I kind of did expect a long fight. I expected him to be able to handle the pressure of my shots. But during the fight, I was impressed because I had a really good first round. I connected a lot of powerful shots, which I didn't understand how he didn't go down with those shots. So anyway, I kept calm and I just kept my mind focused on keeping the pressure and keep doing what I was doing. I was looking for the power shots and connecting, trying to be precise, not so much volume. And at the end, it paid off. It was late in the fight, but I had that trust in my mind that eventually he could not take all the shots I was putting out. I was hitting him really hard, and he can take a punch, but eventually I got him down.
Yeah. And it was just such a great fight. I mean, that was, I think it really stole the show that evening. What was the feedback like after that win? Because, we've seen you in some great fights before, but that was a war, and that was the type of fight that you had people talking about after the event.
Oh, definitely. Everybody was really excited with that fight. I mean, my family, everybody was like telling me that they were going to have a heart attack with that fight, that they didn't want to see me fight like that anymore because they're used to, when I get quick finishes. And everybody else, they were so excited for the fight, talking about the fight and one of the best fights in the latest, last months and stuff. So it was a great feedback. It was a great fight for me. I think it was a big move up, in the division to show what I'm capable of, not only of finishing all my fights, but also if you want to take me, down to the 3 rounds, I'm going to keep biting down and going after that finish. I'm not going to, just let you get a win over me that easy. So I'm going to keep coming at every single round. And I think that I showed that to the whole division.
What was the feedback from the UFC? They must have been really impressed because you just keep racking up these wins. And, I think that was the one that really, I think, put you on the map for those who didn't know already about you, like, myself, who's been following your career for a while.
Yeah, I mean, the UFC was happy about it. No wonder they gave me the Fight of the Night bonus. And recently they did kind of like a ranking of the best fights of the year, and I wasn't in there in number 2. So I think the UFC recognizes not only that fight but me as a fighter, and they see that I'm here, to go after that title and to be a champion. I'm not here just to, I'm dedicating myself. I'm putting in the work. I'm really going out there and showing what I can do, and I fight in a way that I know that the crowd enjoys it and people want to watch me fight. They know that whenever I'm in there, it's going to be a good fight. I'm going to give them, their money's worth. So I think the UFC is really excited with my fighting style, and I think I'm going to keep on growing from now.
What'd you do with the bonus money? Invest it, put it to those college
Way,
funds or anything
that's
like that?
what I do. Yeah, I'm a conservative guy. I'm not trying, to party much and stuff. I recently got married, so married man now, and just on my future and try to keep, just deal good with these things and keep everything controlled.
That's smart. Good stuff. So you're fighting Neil Magny, and it's a little bit of a quick turnaround here. Was this the right amount of time off for you?
Right now, after I started my camp, I could say, yeah, it was a perfect time. Right after the fight, I wanted to take a longer rest. I wanted to fight maybe June or July. But it's those kind of things, Magny wanted to fight in May and he wanted to fight in Rochester. No problem for me. I want to fight a guy that is ranked, so Neil Magny is a perfect opponent. So, I'll give him the date and I have the opponent I want. So for me, it was a perfect fight. It worked well. And now, I'm feeling so good in camp. I'm feeling so, energized and everything. So I think I had enough time for my last fight. And the big thing is I always keep myself well, physically, and I'm always training. So even when I have a fight like I had with Barberena, my body is ready to recover from that really quickly. So I'm feeling great. I think I had enough rest and definitely ready to go out there in May and do what I do.
How long have you been in the U.S. for? Because I know this fight was announced a little while back. How long have you had as far as a camp in the United States at Hard Knocks?
Yeah, this is my third week here at Hard Knocks, and before that, I had already started my training in Brazil, where I usually have been training. But I felt, for this fight, not only for this fight, but in the moment in my career, I wanted to come here to Florida to Hard Knocks. I have a big connection with Henry and everyone. Gilbert Burns also here and everybody, so that I could, it's hard when you're in where you're comfortable. And I've been doing so much good work in Brazil, and everything has been working the way I want to, and I've been getting the wins the way I want to. So it's the moment where we got to do a little bit of change to keep that coming. So I don't say change everything, but some adjustments. And my coach in Brazil is always in contact with Henry, as Henry is always in contact with him. So every fight I've had from when I started in the UFC, Henry was always there, or physically, or by telephone, and talking to my coaches and talking to me, watching tape of my trainings. So it's always been a joint work. So I feel 100% confident over here, and I think it was a good move for this fight.
When was the last time you actually trained at Hard Knocks for a fight? It seems like it's been a couple fights now you've been in Brazil training.
Yeah, I've never. So at Hard Knocks, I trained back when I fought Leon Edwards. That was the last time I trained, and it was right at the beginning of Hard Knocks. There was Hard Knocks and still some guys at the Black Zillions. So it was kind of that change. I was training all over the place. And so I really have never had a real camp at Hard Knocks. This is going to be my first camp over here with all the guys. And it's a good thing. I missed coming here and having this energy of the fight energy over here in Florida. And the guys, I mean, most of the guys are the guys I worked back in at Black Zillions, all the fighters. So it's just great energy.
How do you feel like you match up against Neil Magny?
I think he's a tough opponent. It's what I want. I want to fight the tough guys. He's a guy, has a great conditioning, keeps on coming every single round. Not much different than Barberena, also that keeps on coming every single round. So I think that's a good point that he has. He has that cardio. He's gonna keep. I know he's gonna come and try to pressure me, and that's what I'm getting ready for. I see. He's a well-rounded guy. He has good grappling. He has good striking. He tries to use his range a lot. So I'm gonna have to cut that distance, try to get near him, and at the same time, be ready. I'm gonna be ready to go 3 rounds as hard as we can go. And if by any chance we're moved up for the main event, I'll be ready for 5 rounds. I'll be ready for anything. So that's the plan. The plan is to be in the best shape I've ever been, and I trust that my camp's gonna do that.
And it's a good time to be at Hard Knocks. There's a lot of your teammates who have fights scheduled. At the time we're recording this, there's the LFA card coming up on Friday. You got Jason Jackson and Tyler Ray there. And then, UFC Fort Lauderdale, like you mentioned, Gilbert Burns. How's the room right now? It must be pretty jamming with everyone having to fight pretty soon.
I mean, the energy is great. Everybody's, training as hard as they can. And that's great. I got a lot of work with Jason Jackson, a lot of work also with Gilbert Burns. And it's always great to have these kind of guys that are at this level of competition. When you can work with them, it's always, a good thing. And they put up your energy. So sometimes you're not in your best mood, because sometimes we have bad days. But when you see all the killers in the mat and you know that they got fights coming and that they are giving 100%, I have to give my 100%, or then they'll just, knock me out or submit me all day long. So I think it's always good to train with guys this level, and being here and doing this for me right now, I think it's going to be a big bonus for me.
As far as your corner, I imagine Henry Hooft and Gilbert Burns. Gilbert's usually always in your corner, right?
Yeah, so Gilbert always my corner, Daniel always in my corner as well, my coach from Brazil, and Henry Hoopt whenever he's available and he's around, he's in my corner. Last time he couldn't go, he was sick, but he was there. I actually he was cornering me through message, so he was texting Gilbert and telling me what I should do, and then he would tell me what I had to do. So it's always my corner, Daniel, Gilbert, and Henry, and those are the guys I trust. That's what they're going to be there that night for me.
How do you see this fight playing out on May 18th?
I see a striking match. I think that's what I do. I'm a striker. I go in there to strike. Whenever you want to take me to the floor, I'm ready for that as well. I love the floor. I like the grappling. I have my submissions and I have my things over there as well. But mainly the fight starts standing, so I'm gonna go for the striking. We'll see. I don't know if Magny. I think he might try to grapple me a little bit, try to get me tired, and I'll be ready for that as well. But I see a striking match.
Where does a win over Neil Magny put you, do you think? Because, I mean, they got to start giving you some of these top guys if you continue winning this, especially even the finishes as well, too, has been very impressive.
Yeah, I think it puts me right up there with that in that mix. I think a good win over Neil Magny is going to move me well up, and my fighting style is the fighting style that people want to see. So I know that fights like guys like Masvidal, Darren Till. If I fight these kind of guys, I know it's going to be a great fight. It's a potential fight of the night. So I think I'm focused on Neil Magny first, getting that win, and if I get that win, I believe that it's going to be a good move for me.
So you're away from your family right now in Florida, training at HardKnocks. I know, training is number one. You're probably doing that. But what about downtime? Other than the calls back home, what are you doing to, keep yourself occupied? Are you watching any TV, playing any video games? What do I find you doing?
So what I recently did, like I like video games, but I never had a video game myself. As a kid growing up, I
Really?
would go
Okay.
like house and play on their video games and everything. So, I finally bought my first video game. I was kind of scared of getting addicted to it and everything, but I bought an Xbox and I'm playing. So I restricted myself to 1 hour, 2 hours of rest in the afternoon between one training and the other. And I do that. But also I have my wife with me here, so I cannot go around without her anymore. I'm just used to it. She helps me out with everything, so now she's here with me also. And it's just like being at home. I'm feeling really good here.
Excellent. Oh, that's good to hear. What video game are you playing right now on Xbox?
I'm playing Fallout 76. It's just a game that came with it, but I'm still gonna. I like cars, so I like Forza. That's a game I really like to play.
All right, man. Well, we're looking forward to it. It's coming up here May 18th. It is UFC Rochester. Vicente, it was great catching up with you again, man. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you have any sponsors or shout outs, the floor is yours.
Thanks, guys, and just remember to follow me, Luque Vicente on Instagram and Vicente Luque MMA Twitter and everywhere else. If you look just my name, Vicente Luque, you'll find me as well. Thank HardKnocks, Henry Hooft, Daniel Barros, my trainer, and also Serrato MMA, my team from Brazil, and everybody that supports me.